Before I start, just a quick update. There will be more frequent uploads in the next couple of months. A lot of personal stuff popped up, including lots of house repairs that me and my roommates have been dealing with, and all types of other stuff, traveling, just a bunch of personal stuff, and my fucking laptop keyboard is kind of busted. Thankfully, I chose the right time to start buying computer parts. I'll get an external keyboard to hold me down until I get a new PC. But everything is stable now, so expect more videos in the next couple of months. Now on to the main topic. I've gotten a lot of comments from people asking me my thoughts on a Fallout 1-2 remaster or enhanced editions. You can even throw in tactics. Now, I think the chances of this happening are slim. I think Todd even said in a recent interview that he doesn't plan on remastering Morrowind or Fallout. I could be wrong. I swore I saw an article like that, but take it with a grain of salt, I'm not sure. But either way, the next game Bethesda will remaster is Fallout 3 for sure. That's how they're going to make a lot of money. Just pimp out more Skyrim remasters on whatever they can. I think they ported it to every fucking thing to mankind right now. But the next one is Fallout 3 for sure. It's not going to be New Vegas. It's not going to be Morrowind. Although I think Morrowind, if they have to do another remaster, would be the best one. But it's definitely not going to be Fallout. And I'm fine with that. I personally don't think a Fallout 1-2 remaster or enhanced editions are even necessary, and I've also gotten a question about a Fallout 1 and 2 remake. I'll give my thoughts on that at the end of the video, but let's stick to one thing at a time. I personally don't want one or think it's necessary, but I'll try to look at the other side. There's been plenty of ports/enhanced editions of older PC games lately. You had Baldur's Gate, Titan Quest, Neverwinter Nights, and I believe Fable Anniversary was a re-release, port, whatever, of Fable The Lost Chapters, even though I'll just stick to the original one. It's like $5 on sale, just get that one. I think there's more than that, but I've never been interested in picking any of them up. I have no problems playing the original releases of games. Now, what are the possible benefits of a Fallout 1-2 remaster/enhanced edition if it ever happened? Well, I think the first one would be Bethesda would promote it, no doubt. They've been pretty silent on the 20-year anniversaries of both Fallout 1 and 2, but if they had to put time, money, and effort into re-releasing it, they gotta make their money back, so it would expose more people to the classics, and I'm fine with that. I know some people think that anyone who likes Fallout 4 or 3 or they're excited for Fallout 76, they won't be able to understand Fallout 1 and 2. But I've had people on my channel that originally came here to try to belittle me for being a quote-unquote classic Fallout fanboy, even though I'm not a fanboy of anything. But they just said a lot of irrational shit because of my thoughts on the Fallout series, and it happens. Flame wars happen all the fucking time, and I've been guilty of doing the same thing. It doesn't bother me. But some of those same people that once tried belittling me before came back months or even years later after they played the classic Fallout games and told me they liked them, and thanks to me, they were able to play them and appreciate it. Which is shocking to me because I'm a small YouTuber. I don't have any influence on this platform, but it warmed my cold heart for sure. I have my moments where I act like an idiot and I might lash out at somebody, but for the most part, I think I'm pretty chill. Bethesda hyping up classic Fallout will bring a lot more attention to those games than smaller YouTubers ever will. And I know big YouTubers cover those games too. I know I'm not the only one talking about classic Fallout, but Bethesda's never going to do that. They have the perfect chance to do it now and generate some sales. They could talk about the 20th anniversary and slash the price in half to like $2.50 for the classic Fallouts right now. It would benefit them to talk about the 20th anniversary and do sales. But no, they're going to be too busy talking about Fallout 76. So it's not going to happen, but I guess that's one benefit, even though I don't think it's necessary. One of the sales points I see for remasters or enhanced editions of older PC games is the chance to run that game on modern PCs without any issues booting it up or less issues. And I'm strictly talking about single player ones. I'm not talking about making new servers so the multiplayer of an old PC game can be reinvigorated or something with better servers. Not talking about that, just single player one. And as someone who's played a bunch of old PC games, I can understand why some people might go for this. Running old PC games can be a pain in the ass. Fallout 1 and 2 never really gave me any issues. It wasn't perfect, but getting the game to run wasn't hard for me. Some older games though almost made me rip my fucking hair out. Don't get me started on trying to alt-tab while playing Arcanum. It can suck for certain games. You might have to download a fan patch or read 10 steps just to get the game to run, and sometimes you're not even guaranteed that if you follow those steps. Although the fan patches or mods for Fallout 1 and 2 like Fallout Fixed and the Kill-Apps Restoration Project, they work great for me and I recommend them. But you're not guaranteed that with every older game. Unless the game is just terribly optimized on release and they never really fixed it, I don't understand how this excuse justifies paying more money for an enhanced version of a game you can get for way cheaper if you just get the original version. I mean, if it's a game like Saints Row 2, the PC version, or Gothic 3, they need a re-release, 100% in some form. Those games are terribly optimized and run like fucking shit. But if it's just an issue of an older game having issues starting up on newer PCs, a simple patch from the developer can fix that, or you might have to download a mod. A good example of this is Knights of the Old Republic 2. The game was patched back in 2016, I believe, and it was a blessing. It made this game way easier to run, and trying to get the game to run on modern PCs before this patch was a pain in the fucking ass, and a free patch came out of nowhere, and it just runs great now. Thank fucking God. I just want to clarify that I'm not against the idea of remasters or enhanced editions. It all depends on the situation. There's certain factors that come into play. There's some games that may be hard to find and a remaster makes a game more accessible to people, or they bundle it up, or the remaster is not really necessary but the developers put a lot of love and care into it and it's a quality product for a good price, so I support that. But there's a lot of stuff out there that's just quick cash grabs and they may just fuck it up more. Sometimes the re-release can add new bugs and cause new problems that definitely don't justify the higher price. Fable Anniversary is a re-release of Fable The Lost Chapters. It costs more than the original version and I heard it's not even worth it because of some issues. It all depends on the effort that's put into it. Unfortunately, this means a lot of developers will re-release a game to try and make more money off of it, and you can honestly get the original versions and get them to run fairly easy for $5, so just go for the original version. Now, when it comes to Fallout 1 and 2, and you can throw Tactics in there, and older isometric games in general, the biggest problem I see with enhanced editions or remakes are the higher resolutions. If you've played HD patches for older isometric games specifically, you know what I'm talking about. The game's original resolution may be 800/600 or something like that, 600/480. And when these HD patches bump the resolution up, it just fucks up the game for me. Some people like playing with those higher resolutions. Me personally, I think it's a waste of time. It stretches the fucking screen out and everything starts to look like ants. And it just doesn't work for older isometric games specifically. And especially because it looks weird. The screen is so stretched out and it's hard to see the details of everything and they just look like fucking ants, and sometimes it fucks with the mechanics of a game. For example, if a role-playing game has perception as one of the skills, special, whatever you want to say, it has perception in the game. Sometimes perception can be tied to how far you see on the map, how far your character can look. So if your game is patched with a higher resolution that it wasn't intended to be that high, and the screen is stretched out, zoomed out, and you can see half of the map or all of it, then it kind of like makes the fucking point of perception moot, at least in that area, not including how it's used in combat. So it can even fuck with the game mechanics sometimes. Nothing against HD patches, but I'm not a fan of them. And with these enhanced editions, what I saw with Baldur's Gate and something else in the patches, I just don't like the higher resolution. I just don't think it's necessary, and this is why I think it would be a hard time trying to port Fallout 1 or 2 to consoles, because imagine if the screen is stretched out on a flat screen TV. It's just gonna look fucking weird, and I'll get to that a bit later. But yeah, I don't really like the higher resolutions, and that's why I'm not a fan of the enhanced editions of old isometric games specifically. I've read some comments on some forums and in my own comment section. Some people in the Fallout fandom want enhanced editions / remasters or whatever of the classic Fallout games, and not only that, they want them on consoles. Now, you can play an isometric RPG on a controller, we've seen that before. I'm not trying to be an elitist, but I prefer keyboard and mouse. I just think it's a pain in the ass to play an isometric RPG on a controller, but if you can do it that way, then more power to you. But for the classic Fallouts, it's not necessary. What would be the point? You can easily run those games on any PC or laptop you have. You can take a fucked up laptop from 2007 and you can run the classic Fallout games. If it's for games like Divinity Original Sin 1 and 2, I can understand the appeal. There are fans of those type of games out there that don't have good enough hardware to run the game, so they would just rather buy it on a console and play it on a controller. And if that's how you experience it, I'm not being an elitist, more power to you. I just prefer playing on a keyboard and mouse. I think you can hook up your keyboard to the PS4, so maybe you can play it that way. Not sure. I haven't tried it out. But that would be cool if they would allow that option for Divinity Original Sin 1 and 2. But yeah, I can understand the appeal for Divinity Original Sin 1 and 2, but the classic Fallout games, you can run it on any PC or laptop. They're easy to get. You can get them for so cheap. So I don't understand why people would want them to be ported to consoles. That's just me. Maybe I'm not seeing anything. So those are my thoughts on enhanced editions, remasters, whatever you want to call them, of the classic Fallout games. I think we had a good discussion about that. I tried to cover as many things as possible. And I'm just going to say this about remaking the classic Fallouts. Don't do it. I don't want to see a Bethesda remake of the classic Fallouts. I don't want them to try to put 3D graphics in it or whatever. I'm fine with playing the classic Fallout games. They're great the way they are. We don't need to see remakes of everything. If some modder tries to do it to show off his skills, that's pretty cool, but I don't want to see anything official like that. I don't want them to fuck with the lore anymore. I don't even know what they would try to add into it or take away from it, so I'm not for a remake at all. That's just me. Let me know what you think, and have a great day.